Hey guys, not much has changed with the markets this week. We've been stagnating sideways for a while. It seems like a lot of the world is waiting to see what happens with the war as well as earnings. A lot of major tech companies have earnings next week. Overall, earnings have been on the positive side, which is kind of what the market was expecting. So we haven't seen too much movement aside from just whipsaws back and forth. And most of those seem to be led by tweets coming in and bots buying or selling, depending on what the words say. So with the prop trading yesterday, I had one trade short. Looks like a great short here. The entry was okay, but for my plan, I can't pretend to think that I would have caught this big move or held on for this big move with the way I'm trading those prop accounts right now. And then yesterday, I spent the entire day most of the day doing research on how I want to make a next attempt at revising this new trading idea that I've been testing. And so I'm going to be adding rules into that make it a little bit more, I don't want to say aggressive, but more flexible to how it determines trades. So I'll be starting this with a $20,000 account balance. I'll move it to the next stage if it reaches 50,000 before it has a drawdown of $20,000. So some days, whereas this most recent run, I was requiring a minimum of a 2-to-1 risk reward, I'm going to be a little bit more flexible with that, allow smaller risk rewards if the market conditions are saying that. So just overall being a little bit more dynamic in the type of profit taking, and we'll see how that impacts it going forward. And then again, markets as a whole, indexes, techs are strong, everything's strong but cautious. So I would expect to continue to see tweet-based moves back and forth. And then oil was one yesterday that as I was doing my analysis, I saw a beautiful setup that I marked, but I didn't execute it just because I was doing research. But right here on oil, we've started trending upwards on it. Momentum is coming into it, or I should say we're more or less grinding upwards. So we had this great buy setup in here, marked it on the chart. Had I been taking it, I set the target in this area here. So I would have not held it for this big move, but I'm happy to see it would have gotten the 2-to-1 I was looking for on that trade. And looking at oil for today, an hour or so ago, I would have said back off on oil. But now that it has pulled back a little bit, this is where I'm starting to get more interested and potentially taking another shorter term buy setup on oil. Gold is kind of the opposite. If we get up a little bit higher, I'll be looking to take a smaller bounce play to sell gold because we did make a lower low there. So just from what I'm seeing right now, oil and gold look like the two markets to be watching for potential trend following plays. Natural gas continues to look weak, and it just rolled over. So I've got to do some adjustments of my lines, but overall, I want to be cautious on the buy side for natural gas. If we get a pullback to the upside, it could be an opportunity to get short on that. Copper is looking a bit too choppy. The euro could be one to play some bounce plays to the short side. I would favor the other markets over trying to trade it. But if it's a clear setup on the sell side, I'll be taking that as well. I still don't want to touch that. And Bitcoin, it's just grinding up, following an amazingly perfect trend. It's to the point where it's so perfect, when this thing breaks, it could break pretty hard. But in terms of a personal bias on this, I'm completely unbiased and don't even want to begin to pretend to have a clue to where Bitcoin is heading from here. So I would say step back on that one. So best of luck, guys. I think oil and gold are probably going to be your best bet for some good movement today. But stay safe out there. It's Friday, and happy trading.